Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're digging into the story of a true genius, a man who literally designed the world we live in. He could see the future so clearly, but he was kind of haunted by the present. So picture this. It's the 1930s, and the whole world is just teetering on the brink of another horrible war. Tensions are sky high. And right in the middle of all this fear, one man steps forward and says, "I have the answer." And you can bet the press went absolutely wild with this. The headlines were just sensational, painting this picture of some terrifying new superweapon. I mean, it sounded like something straight out of a comic book. Yep, they called it a death beam, an invisible force that could just wipe out entire armies from hundreds of miles away. It's the stuff of nightmares, right? But the inventor, Nikola Tesla, who was 78 years old at this point, he called it something totally different. See, in his mind, this wasn't about aggression at all. This was a machine to end war. All right, so let's get into this. A weapon to end all wars? How could something so powerful actually bring peace? It sounds like a total contradiction. So Tesla was super clear about this. His teleforce, as he called it, wasn't some sci-fi ray gun. He actually said that rays, like light, they just spread out and get weaker over long distances. No, his idea was different. It was a particle beam, a super concentrated stream of tiny particles that would slam into its target with all of its power. And that's the absolute key to the whole thing. The goal was 100% defensive. He imagined this wall of power completely surrounding a country. So if nobody could successfully attack you, if enemy planes just fell out of the sky, well, what's the point of even starting a war? And look, this wasn't just some daydream. Tesla insisted it was a complete system, based on 4 brand new inventions he'd already worked out in his head. First, a way to make energy in the open air, no vacuum needed. Then, a way to generate and boost a massive electrical force. And finally, a totally new kind of gun to shoot it. The numbers here are just mind-boggling. We're talking about a potential of 50 million volts. That's like harnessing lightning. He calculated it could knock a fleet of 10,000 airplanes out of the sky from 250 miles away. Just incredible. So you gotta ask, how does one person even come up with this stuff? Well, to get the invention, you have to get the inventor. And the answer is all in the absolutely unique way Tesla's mind worked. Seriously? If you want to understand any of Tesla's ideas, from the AC power that runs our homes to this wild teleforce weapon, you have to get a handle on his creative process. It was like nothing else at the time. And this is where you see the huge difference between him and his big rival, Thomas Edison. Edison was all about trial and error. Build it, test it, fail, repeat. Tesla, he was a man of the mind. He didn't need a workshop because he built and tested everything inside his head, in his mental laboratory. He literally said he'd get an idea and just start building it in his imagination. He'd change parts, make improvements, and even run the device all in his mind. And get this, he claimed his mental versions were so perfect that for 20 years, every single thing he actually built worked perfectly the first time. No exceptions. Now, a mind that works like that, it's bound to be a little eccentric, right? And for Tesla, well, his genius and his obsessions were basically the same thing. And you could see it in his everyday life. He was obsessed with the number 3. He'd live on the 33rd floor in a suite with a number divisible by 3. He'd use 18 napkins at dinner. That's a multiple of 3. He'd walk around a block 3 times before going inside. On top of that, he was terrified of germs, couldn't stand the sight of pearl earrings, and, famously, he had a real soft spot for pigeons. And the thing is, Tesla knew he was peculiar. He didn't see these things as flaws, though. He saw them as being tangled up with the very thing that made him a genius, like force and matter. You can't have one without the other. And it was that exact same mind that saw our modern world with jaw-dropping clarity. He talked about small, cheap, wireless devices you could carry in your pocket. Sound familiar? He described remote-controlled flying machines. We call them drones. He even predicted that wireless tech would turn the whole planet into a huge brain. I mean, come on, that's the internet. So where does that leave us? What's the final legacy of this brilliant, weird, and totally misunderstood visionary? Well, the teleforce, his machine to end war, it never got built. He pitched it to the US government and others, but they just thought it was too out there. And even though he pioneered the AC power system that literally runs our world,
He was terrible with business. He died broke and alone in a hotel room, with all these incredible ideas still locked away in his mind.
And that leaves us with this one last, powerful thought from the man himself. A perfect testament to a life spent building a future that he'd never get to live in. A future that, in so many ways, is the one we have today. If you love digging into the stories of the minds that shaped our world, hey, do us a favor and hit that subscribe button.